Samantha had told me about this man, Phil D., the guy who had played cello at Elvis's last concert, and he was the headliner for tonight. Okay, cool. But when I saw him approach the stage, I thought it must be some kind of joke. The man looked to be near death. Now, it turns out he was in his 60s, but when I had first seen him in the club a few nights prior, I would have placed his age in the 80s. He was actually younger than my dad, but he looked a hell of a lot older. Now, I don't suppose I have to tell you that someone like that is not someone you usually see mounting a stage at a club. As he hobbled toward the stage, I looked down at Samantha's written program and read that in addition to the Elvis thing, Phil D. had played for many years in the Indianapolis Philharmonic and that he was a music professor at the university. What? Hi, I'm Neal A. Yeager. Today I'm reading from my novella, The Next Seattle, which is a book about a music scene in the late 1990s. I have another book that is about a music scene, and that is Political Music Club. This is about people who are writing modern protest songs, so it's kind of timely, I suppose, timely kind of book. And it's all about musicians, so if you're liking this, you might like this. We'll see. You can look at the description text for this video to find out where to find this, and if you'd like to check it out. Anyway, this is Chapter 15, The King is Dead. There was obviously some sort of joke going on here, but then it happened. He started to play. You see, while getting up to the stage, he looked like he was about to collapse, but once he started playing that cello, it was as if someone else had taken over that frail body. And damn, I have never seen anything like it. And I've seen a lot. So, Samantha had been right about this. Phil D. was an artist worth watching. I couldn't imagine anyone in the music industry actually even attempting to sell something like this, but again, damn. Phil's backing band rocked, and he probably had grandchildren their age, and jammed out some tunes that would have been pretty darn good on their own, but atop that guitar and drums were these amazing, swooping cello parts. Just amazing parts. The kind of cello parts that would give you chills. And atop that, to my amazement, some fantastic, tortured vocals. Hell, if he had just been a singer, he would have been a singer to catch my attention, but add that to everything else, I was in awe. And after all these years in the music business, awe is not something I tend to feel anymore. It was obvious that I was not the only one feeling it. I looked around the room and realized that he was the reason that this place was packed. He had a large contingent of fans in a wide age range, though most of them were college-aged, and I assume were probably his students, and they were fixated. The members of the other bands gave him their absolute full attention. The punk kids seemed fascinated. Everyone's attention was on this frail little man who was such a powerhouse performer. Everyone's eyes were glued to the stage. It was beautiful. And then the jerkwad showed up. Apparently, the annoying councilman and his small band of protesters had decided to be a bit more aggressive. Right in the middle of Phil D's set, they came marching through the club. And get this, they were carrying torches. Friggin' torches, I kid you not, through the middle of a commercial building. Torches. I assume that the effect was meant to be like the angry townsfolk of old, some sort of symbolic gesture there, which I'm sure the councilman thought was somehow significant and appropriate, but Jesus Christ, torches? As they marched, they waved their torches and chanted, "Not in our town! Not in our town!" Whatever the hell that was supposed to mean. At this disruption, the band stopped playing. Obviously, torches inside small, confined spaces can certainly have that effect, and the councilman quickly jumped at the opportunity and started in on his speech. which, incidentally, he delivered to the cameraman who had followed them into the club and not to the people actually in the club. This place is a corrupting place. It is full of violence and drugs and who knows what else. I have lived in this city my entire life, I am proud to say, and I can tell you that this place is not something that the people of Terre Haute want here. Not in our town. Now the room had a fairly high ceiling, but I, along with several other people in the club, couldn't help noticing how close the councilman's torch was getting to the ceiling tiles as he waved the torch around. And just as the councilman was about to continue his rant, a voice, a big, powerful voice, a voice like the voice of God, came thundering out of the club's speakers. It was Phil D. And Phil D was pissed. "Malcolm!" shouted Phil D through the PA system. The councilman, obviously startled by the voice of God, turned and saw, apparently for the first time, the artist whose performance he had interrupted. "Dad?" he squeaked. "What in the hell are you doing here?" Phil D demanded. "Dad?" "Yes, and I asked you a question, Malcolm. What the hell are you doing?" "Dad, what are you... Don't you know what goes on here? What are you doing here?" "Music goes on here. Music is what happens, and music is what I am doing here." "What are you doing here? Are we perhaps witnessing some ridiculous stunt designed to get you reelected to the council? Is that what you've turned into? Is that what my son has turned into? A cheap, sensationalistic political hack?" The councilman was obviously rattled. With a weak point towards Samantha, he squeaked out, "She invited us." "What?" shouted Samantha. "I invited you to come in and watch some bands, not to come in and act like..." And here, apparently Samantha realized that there was a camera pointed at her. Not to come and disrupt a concert that people have paid to see, and certainly not to cause a fire hazard in a small enclosed space. Phil D sprang to his feet, and through his furious anger you could see a quick wince at the pain that springing had caused him, and he shouted, "Get out! Right now! Get out!" Now, one could suspect that the councilman had probably not been spoken to by his father in that tone for 30 years or so, but it was obvious from his reaction that he most certainly had heard that tone before. He turned and slinked out of the club, his bewildered fellow protesters following along behind him. There was a pin-drop silence in the club as this happened, and when the councilman had made his way out the door, the crowd, in basically one synchronized motion, turned their collective heads from the doorway back to Phil D. There was an awkward moment. Then Phil D clutched his chest and fell to the floor.
I know you're gone, very gone, completely gone. Yet I feel you, hear you walking, I can feel you though you're gone, completely gone away. I can walk across you, spread myself across you, run my fingers through the grass that covers you. I wish those fingers through your hair. I'm pulled into the ether, I'm losing me. I'm losing me, 'cause you're gone. Feel your stone, feel your name, feel your dates. I'm pressing my cheeks against your stone. It's cold, it burns, it's cold, it burns, oh God, it burns. Immolations canceled on account of rain. My immolations canceled on account of rain.